Excusez-moi. What is up, Fox fam? Welcome back to some more Sunday Stories, The Path of Destinies. This is a very early morning stream for me, just to basically get it out of the way so I can do things later on throughout my day. Be done with this. I mean, not that I don't like it, I definitely love this game. It is a great game, but things to do, even though I don't want to, but I'm gonna have to. The usual. Anyway, very good morning to you all. Don't forget, hit the like and sub button if you've not already, and all your help and support is greatly appreciated. Please don't forget, let your family and friends know about my channel. Send them my way, have them sub and everything. All that support, all the new peeps, I absolutely love seeing the numbers just slowly and steadily climbing. It does feel great to know I am actually doing something that people do seem to enjoy the content. So, anyway, just about ready to get started. Don't forget, autoplay. Smack it off. Basically, give it the middle finger. So, let's get started.
The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Skyripper had surfaced, or so a scholar in the mountains had told him. Surely the weapon that banished the lost gods could defeat the Emperor.
Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Skyripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Renato. And also, his old friend Lupino needed rescuing.
Friend.
Of course. Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lupino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
I'm gonna say that every single time, friend. Well, we're gonna go with find the temple first. And we're gonna try to get some new information. But like this one, I think I can get a piece of Skyripper information on that one storyline I did. It was right there at the end. I picked the one option, picked the other one the next time I play through it. So we're going temple.
The island was windswept desert. No one went there except ostriches
Yes.
and ostrich hunters.
The Iblis stone. It sounded ominous. It sounded powerful. If the Emperor was searching for it, it must be dangerous.
And so, Bernardo went ostrich hunting.
Yes, it is a book. So how are you doing this fine early morning, my friend? Yeah.
Every
And
child
pictures.
could sing verses about the Skyripper, but ancient codices held hints of other things. A stone that ate souls, a ruby that drank blood, a jewel only a righteous man could give away.
Were all these things the Iblis stone?
Yep.
Long hidden in the buried temple? Another ancient item that was only resurfacing now? Drawn up from the deeps by the Emperor's horrific rituals?
Wait, which way am I going? I am doing pretty good. I am definitely doing much better now that I am back on Sunday. Finally back to this game. Like, that's just gonna give me health when I don't even really need it. Or right at the beginning of the map.
Renato distrusted doors that opened automatically, especially after being buried for millennia. Was this some sort of trap?
Very possibly. And there's no camera either. You can't change your camera angle. Oh, you little scabs.
Ravens were already here, cawing in frustration. They were still searching for a way in.
It's like that could have gone a little bit better.
Late. Don't get ahead of yourself, lad.
Oops. Who says I wanted to use the altar? I'm gonna go check back this way since it was... Oh, you actually do need the sword to complete this level? Okay. Normally they give you paths, but... Alright. Note about the game is you have to continue to point the L stick in the direction you want to attack. If you're not, you're gonna go off half-cocked, basically crazy. I mean, it is definitely a weird book, but it's got its perks. Ooh. Find the stone. You have been chosen in this critical mission for your ability to follow orders to the letter without question. Do not believe the naysayers. Your score in the intelligence test is only proof that you are better geared than anyone else to follow orders. Take pride in knowing that I, your Emperor, have handpicked you for this mission. Follow the instructions to the letter. Always travel in pairs. Do not look at the engravings in the wall. Do not lose the hermetic box. When you find the stone, immediately place it in the box and seal the box. If you hear a voice in your head, ignore it. Remember the temple is haunted, obviously. This is an old temple dedicated to an old evil god. There were blood sacrifices. Of course it would be haunted. Ignore the voice in your head. Remember, ghosts cannot hurt you, but they will try to confuse you. When you hear a voice, take the drowsy pill. If you meet another soldier with the stone, and it is not in the hermetic box, immediately spray them down with drowsy gas. Find the stone, put it in the box, seal the box, and most important of all, find the stone.
A road less traveled. This could be fun. If it wasn't fatal, that is. Smells burnt fur. His. There was an inscription. No spitting.
Oh, that actually sounds pretty good. I had Taco Bell the other day. I've been wanting it again. Yay, give me that health.
How could a temple to Iblis still even exist? The transcendent Emperor had destroyed all the shrines of the lost gods after exiling them. Had it been buried in that long-ago battle? Or had Iblis foreseen his fate and hidden it from his enemy?
Wait, which way's the right way? This way. Okay, I do not want to go the right way first. Here we go. Okay. Excuse me. Always go the wrong way in the game first, because you're gonna find treasure chests and other things.
Don't be shy.
Bird brains. Wait, yeah, so there's just the one path in and out. Okay, no. Back. What do I want?
Every day he was getting better and better.
There we go, well that's done. Yes. Because, for the most part, every path that's not the right path, you're gonna get a chest and possibly a fight out of it.
The Ravens at least could not get past this point. Obviously, the temple builders knew how to deal with tomb raiders.
Yeah, this was the game that I played the Sunday that you missed. Did the notification actually pop up, or did you just see me on PS4? Ooh. Oh yeah, homemade are always the best.
Renato hated cannon traps. Also, who reloaded these things anyway? He never figured that part out.
Oof. Oh boy. Oops. Yeah, no big deal. I didn't take much damage. Okay, you get singed and you burn a bit from them. Okay, good. So it actually did show up. Here we go. Chapter 1.
It was a stone of the purest blackness. It reflected no light, like a void made solid. Nervous, he picked it up. I can make you mighty. Who said that?
One of the neighbors.
It was the stone. Eager, thirsty. Kill the Emperor's daughter. That seemed tempting and terribly wrong. Zenobia was the Emperor's greatest general and a potent witch. But they had been close once, and Renato wasn't sure he really wanted to be Emperor. Why not capture the core of Skyripper instead? It was the eye of a lost god, torn out by the transcendent Emperor to power his greatest weapon.
Oh, which way do I go?
The core, said the stone anxiously.
Well, I'm not gonna listen to the stone. I'm gonna go ahead and... Oh boy, which one? Stick with the bottom path, I think, for now. That way we know which way we're going. Yeah, yeah, that does sound very, very rough. I hope you're at least getting enough rest.
The stone bothered him. He hated being told what to do. Wasn't that why he joined the rebellion? Wasn't that why he'd refused to be a soldier? He'd agreed to come on board only if he could freelance. The stone felt a bit clingy. The sage Calaveras had told him where to find the Skyripper, a weapon capable of challenging the gods. Even without its armature, the core would still possess great power. He would go there. The moment he landed the Farfarer, Renato had a rare feeling of regret. It's not too late, he thought. He could turn around and sail for Zenobia's island. He frowned. Wait a minute. He didn't want to kill Zenobia, did he? Sure, technically she was the enemy, but they'd been at Sword Fu school together. They'd never been lovers, but somehow they'd been closer. She'd told him every secret about herself. Except the biggest one. That she was the Emperor's daughter. No. Kill Zenobia, whispered the stone. Before it's too late.
But I don't want to.
The waterfall was spectacular. Well, you had to enjoy these things as they came. We pass this way but once.
Like, which way's which? Wait, I can't go back, can I? Oopsie. Oh, I messed up, didn't I? Hold on, I think... Nah, I can't really. I thought it was the way to go for a second. Yeah, see, I missed. I mean, you know, it would have been nice. if this... if this was... So yeah, I did miss a chest, so if you're going to destroy one of the doors, go through the door first, I guess.
There was something sour in the air. Like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time.
But this is definitely not how the area looked if you decide to go for... Yeah, see, it would have brought me right out here. Yeah, this is not how the area looked when I went through it before.
You almost never saw wild gogglers together like this. The toads had to train them not to peck each other to death. So these had to be Imperial gogglers. That meant ravens were up ahead.
The stone hadn't lied about what it could do for him. With each raven he cut down, he felt a jolt of power flowing into his arm. "You're weak," whispered the stone. "The core will kill you." "Are you afraid of it?" "You're ridiculous," it chuckled. But it's unstable. It will poison you as much as carry it, and if you try to use it, it will explode catastrophically. Bernardo did not trust rocks that talked in his head.
I wouldn't trust him
He
either.
went onwards.
That's when you start getting paranoid. Bernardo must have ate some real good mushrooms if that thing's talking to... No, it is haunted. Yeah, you enjoy those. Hopefully you'll enjoy those while also enjoying my content as well. That does sound good. Great, now I want tacos.
Of course there was a puzzle. You couldn't expect the transcendent Emperor to bury a god's eye in a leather sack where anyone could pick it up.
Yeah, this was definitely not how the temple looked when I went through this area actually going for the Skyripper. Oof. E. Okay, so you had to be quick. I pull my head out of my booty and get my reflexes going. Nope. Try me. Just for that, you're gonna get thrown.
Done beautifully. He was a bard when you needed one.
Okay. Chapter 2 of our 6th story. Let's see if we would have had the actually gone the one way. Because there's like 2 different stories you can go for this thing, and it's unstable.
As he approached the core, the stone became hysterical. "No, it is too much power. We will rip a hole in space and time."
He had a sudden vision of plunging his gauntlet into the core and dying in anguish. That wasn't his vision, was it? The stone had sent him its darkest fears, hadn't it? He had a sudden impulse to do exactly that. He raised his right fist and plunged it into the core. There was a rush of light. He thought he could hear the stone screaming. And then he passed out.
When Renato came to, the core was gone. But the Ibla stone was no longer black, but glowing with a blue light. And it was silent. "I can't hear you," he sang out, and
Yoo-hoo! It didn't answer. Ha! He said. He had defeated the demonic gem with the power of his mind. He felt invincible. It was time to attack the Imperial outpost on the Nexus.
Yep, stick
Take
with
the
the bottom.
battle to the enemy. But among the huge crystals, there was also an observatory. A wise man would probably ask the scientists exactly what he had first.
I mean, that is a path.
How
so
wise was he?
not very, at times. But we're sticking with the bottom path for now. And my brain's trying to work and play at the same time. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna wing it. Different paths.
As the Farfarer sailed towards the Nexus, Bernardo wondered if the core had been created to silence the stone, or even to feed its hunger. Honestly, he didn't care. He felt terrific, and he appreciated the quiet inside his head.
So basically the first two, once you get the stone, you basically disobey it. Go out of your way to not even listen to it type of deal. It wants to talk in your head, so don't listen.
The Nexus was infested with ravens, but that didn't bother Renato. With each death, the converted Iblis stone in his gauntlets glowed brighter, and he felt stronger. Wow. He was getting a bit bloodthirsty, wasn't he? Well, he wasn't worried. He was a warrior. They're supposed to be bloodthirsty.
It's like, don't freeze on me again. He did that the last time I played, and I had to do 2 different parts.
There were stickers all over the platform for really hot lady foxes.
Oh.
Pictures and addresses and everything.
Oh my lord. Oh, they really need to get some modesty then, huh? Break. I like breaking stuff. Let's go. Up and away. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Epic. I mean, even if it's just health, that there's pretty much still a fight, so... Oh, jeez. I would rather enjoy them. Take the time to eat them.
The core, absorbed in the stone, was doing its job perfectly. Bernardo could feel a little eldritch jolt every time he downed a raven, but then it flowed into the glowing stone the way water flows down a riverbed. It all felt perfectly natural, as if all his life, this was what he had been meant to do.
I know I haven't said it yet, but I know I should. I appreciate you stopping by.
Renato tore through the last remaining guards at the outpost like hot coffee through snow. There was a far speaker toad here. He called the council speaker. He knew she would be thrilled. And she was. She wanted him to come back to base. They had plans to discuss, and a medal to give him. A large, golden medal. Great, said Renato. Let's talk about who else I can kill. Then the far speaker croaked again.
Hello, Renato,
It said.
If you get sick of slaughtering second-rate birds in the Nexus, I'm waiting for you in the mountains.
Zenobia. She missed him. She loved him. Once she saw how awesome he'd become, maybe she'd join him. They'd kiss and... Well, if she did refuse for some reason, he was no match for him now.
Well, like I said, we're gonna stick with the bottom path, although I'm almost certain it's a trap. It's a trap! We're gonna end up going this way eventually, but...
Zenobia was taunting him. No doubt she hoped to lure him into a trap. Well, he was nobody's sucker. Especially not hers. He carried victory in his gauntlet. He would go where the council pointed him.
Right.
As he set foot on the island, Renato felt energized, like when he was hunting or dancing. Then he smelt it. The stench of ravens. It was a good thing he was here too, before they tripped over the secret base. He was really saving the council toad's bacon, so to speak.
And for the most part, they use the exact same maps. Every time you go on a different story, it has different dialogue, and it also seems sometimes to have at least a little bit different path through the area. So you're not getting exactly the same thing. Yeah! Might I ask, is it the, good smoke, or the, you know, the, cigarettes? All the good stuff. Oh.
Renato wondered how much Hypatia had known about the book she protected. Enough to tell her son to protect it. Enough to tell Renato to protect her son. He'd let her down there.
Yeah, it is definitely... There is 24 different total outcomes out of 3 beginning pieces of story. So I'm not sure exactly which paths I need to take, but like the first time I played this just by myself, I actually found it within like 5 stories, so...
Renato checked to make sure his sword was still working. Yep. Renato had an artifact that made him practically a godlike warrior. All he had to do now was collect his medal, head for the Imperial fleet, and raise some hell.
Raise some hell. Which way am I going? Which way am I going? I mean, I definitely know what I prefer. I actually...
This chest contained a Vorpal sword. I'm just kidding. Vorpal swords don't exist.
I actually can't stand cigarette smoke at all.
This thing really needed a roof.
Now, what exactly is that? I don't know that I've ever heard that word. What is indica? Is it like a smoking type of thing, or...? This is where it froze up. I keep remembering. It's like, don't do that again. Ah, okay. As long as it's not like the synthetic stuff, because that can really mess you up.
That's what they meant by a firewall. What unlocks a firewall?
Or like what's known as like spice or bath salts or whatever that is. Yeah, none of that synthetic can really cause major harm. I mean, as long as you're doing okay and it works for you, that's all that matters.
See? Renato was a hero of the revolution. He deserved a medal. Soon, he deserved every medal they had, and hopefully one big medal ceremony in front of everybody with trumpets so everyone could know what he'd accomplished.
Yeah.
Surprisingly unwounded.
Yeah, I'm unwounded, but that's just... Well, I mean, I seem to have a blue glow. Hitbox, hitbox, hitbox. There's your hitboxes. They suck. Oh.
Welcome to Earth, Renato told the corpses. It was something he'd seen in a play once.
Alright, how much farther on chapter 4? I know we always have that chapter 5.
Well, the eyes have had it. The long stairs. So he was close to the rebel base. He was on fire. So far, so good. do it, said Renato to himself.
This is how we do it. Oh. Okay. If I have trouble with a pot, I can just run through it, apparently. Here. Okay, that's cool. Okay. So it is basically just another type of weed. Here we go. Chapter 4. Done.
Inside the rebel base, Renato was invited to the council speaker's private chambers. So, this is the Iblis stone? He said. I can feel its power. Renato told her how he had fed the core to the stone and made something even more useful than either. Crazy like a fox, she croaked. And Renato chuckled as if he'd never heard the joke before. We've given you the best quarters and a bottle of Tantalonian firewater. All for you. So they'd remembered. He woke in the morning with the sweetest of hangovers. The Iblis stone was gone from his gauntlet. The corridors were empty, except for a few rebels who looked just as hungover as him. Come on, you'll miss the battle, they yelled. Renato added sail as the Farfarer scudded across the sky. Who could have taken the Iblis stone? Was it some Imperial spy? He would find him, and kill him, and take the stone back.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard that before. Okay, so yeah, I figured this was just another trap.
Renato had a bad taste in his mouth. He was killing ravens, but it wasn't fun. It felt like a chore. Oh, Renato hated chores. As a fox kid, he'd gone hungry rather than clean his room. He still didn't clean his room, he just moved house every few years. Who had the Iblis stone anyway? Up ahead, he could hear screaming and croaking and cawing. But who was winning?
I can tell you, I'm pretty sure I remember who took it.
There it was again. The back door to the portal that went to the center of the fleet.
His back... wall breaking. 1 second, let me take a look. Over... Increase maximum health. Grab impale. Okay, grab damage. For the most part, my dude, don't give it names. It's just whether he's got, like, more than one, and I'll take this much of this, then this much of this. Which, it's pretty much all medically grown stuff. But, no, for the most part, they don't give it names, but my other friends, they seem to know what it is by smell. So they know what it's called, but we just never...
As he ran forward, Renato noticed that some ravens were starting to ignore him. Just running away. Who are they running from? Some hero of the revolution?
Yeah, that's right,
run.
run.
So-called hero of the revolution had the stone and tried to take his victory and his medals. Renato's gotta be seriously pissed off. He was the hero, not some other bozo.
I mean, for the most part, honestly, to me, it don't really need a name as long as it works and does the job. Ooh, perfect parry.
That's gone rather well, actually.
Yeah, I've heard about that for sure. I was trying to hatch a mudkip, and if I got it on 420, I was going to name it Purple Kush. I've heard about it, but I don't think I've ever had it.
Someone needs a bath.
And no, I ended up having to wait till 918 for it to hatch. Still worth it. Gorgeous purple baby.
Take a leap of faith, said the inscription.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to actually jump down from here. No thank you. Okay, almost to the end of this story. Right after this, I'm gonna go take a small break and fill up the coffee cup. Come on out. Slice. Slice right in half. Huh. Must have been a shorter story than... I don't know. This was under an hour.
Finally, Renato came to the Emperor's ship. Zenobia lay dead in front of it. The ship was a wreck.
No.
Ravens lay dead, sprawled everywhere. Bloody feathers spattered across the deck and the dock. The council speaker came out. She was waving a sword around like a flag. "Look at me, Renato!"
Yeah.
she croaked. The Iblis stone on the sword was black as coal.
Now I will be Empress, and all shall tremble before me, she croaked.
So the stone had her. It was in her brain, whining for blood. "I'm afraid I can't allow that," said Renato, and moved to fight her. Toads are not usually good with swords. Something about the footwork. And the council speaker was not even a warrior. She was always tripping over things, which is quite an impressive achievement when you're a toad. Yet somehow, she was pressing Renato backwards as he desperately tried to keep her sword away from his throat. "Look, why don't you keep the stone?" he asked. "You deserve it."
Blood and souls for Iblis, she croaked. Blood and souls.
She got under his guard with her sword. It was just the tip. But sometimes just the tip is enough. He could feel his soul being sucked into the stone. As he died, he felt embarrassed more than anything else. He should go back to some of the choices he'd faced before. Maybe there were new paths that had opened up. Like those doors he was opening up all over the map that took him to new treasures and around his enemies. But he'd learned another true thing. The Iblis stone was evil. It would try to corrupt anyone who used it.
Yeah, I mean, if you do that for me, I would greatly appreciate that. I mean, it at least helps to let people know. That's what I've always said, so yes, please do that. Okay. Story number 6, technically story number 17. For a fistful of ducats. And what kind of hero am I? A hero who deserves his medal, who will not let anyone steal the hero title. The Iblis Stone corrupts anyone who uses it. Yeah, definitely. So I need to find a Skyripper truth. The Iblis Stone corrupts anyone who uses it. So I think the straightforward path would be to take it to the one toad after I get the parts, which is just like the 4th chapter, go the opposite direction. So basically just follow the same path till I get right there about the end. Okay. The Iblis Stone. It whispers and it corrupts. On a hunch, Renardo fed it to the Skyripper's core. It silenced the stone. Perfect. Now he could win the war for the rebellion. Victory after victory. Renardo became the hero of the revolution, and he earned his medal. But the nerve. Someone stole the stone while he was resting in the rebel base. Worse, the thief was killing all the ravens, stealing all the glory. Little did Renardo know that the core had weakened, and the gem was free to corrupt. Ever since he returned to the rebel base. The thief was a rebel leader, a weak, harmless toad, but she had the gem. Renardo did not stand a chance. Alright, I'm going to take a short break. I might as well go to the bathroom as well while I do. Gonna go grab some more coffee. And I think I can get it is basically the same top 3 choices. But the last one I will do the opposite choice. I think that will at least maybe give me something to the effect of the Skyripper. Alright, I will be right back. I mean, if you want to take off, I don't, it won't make me feel bad. So, if you want to go get that done, you're more than welcome to. And oh my, I'm gonna need coffee. Alright, hey, I might still be streaming when you get back too, never know. I don't know how long I'm gonna be playing. Yeah, be safe, and I hope you have a good day, if I don't see you again today. Alright, I'm gonna type this short break. Alright, I will be right back, peeps. See you in a couple minutes.
The book's pages fluttered to the beginning once again. Faster than before, and he fell.
The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Skyripper had surfaced. Or so a scholar in the mountains had told him. Surely the weapon that banished the lost gods could defeat the Emperor.
Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Iblis stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact. It could corrupt its user into a bloodthirsty monster. Maybe he could find a way to use it. To take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course. Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
Every child knew about the Skyripper. The Transcendent Emperor had buried its pieces. What could have brought them to light? This Emperor, Isengrim III, had once been kind, but he'd gone mad. And now he was conducting secret, obscene rituals to bring back the lost gods. Had he, somehow, summoned the long-lost components of the legendary weapon out of the deep places of the earth? It was more than Renato could fathom. But if he could find a legendary weapon, he would use it.
As he set foot on the island, Renato couldn't help feeling a bit curious. Was Lapino still waiting to be rescued?
Nope.
No. He was probably drinking champagne with the ravens. Did ravens drink champagne?
You know damn well he is.
Did rabbits? Renato felt oddly thirsty, come to think of it. Why had he chosen the Skyripper?
Renato never made plans that required constant vigilance. He was a hero. He didn't think too much. He just went with his gut and hoped it all worked out. The Skyripper was a long shot. He'd have to devote himself to it. No side journeys, no rescuing old friends. That was against his nature. Could he stick with it?
And I'm pretty sure I have to go through and at least get both parts before anything will really change. I can't do nothing with just the armament chart, so I have to actually...
Renato hated gogglers, but it freaked him out to cut them.
Oh. Hello.
Renato was running out of choices. Zenobia's love brought him only sorrow. His best friend was his enemy. And the Iblis stone... Oh, he shuddered. Best not to think about it. All that was left was the Skyripper, a weapon powered by a god's eye. So be it, then. When he was still a thief, Renato had always been attracted to the women with the biggest chests. No, that's not what I meant. To rob, I mean.
Okay.
somebody's been watching.
Yeah, you gotta point your L stick at the direction to destroy. Wait, is this the way I'm supposed to go? Well, whatever. Oh.
Hey, why don't you guys fight in groups? Oh, I know. Because there's no I in team.
Oh. God. Really? Well, that was a bunch of crap.
Odd that they never locked these things. I'll take the health. And that's about all I'm going to fight now, is just experience. And I wouldn't need the health if I didn't get into the fight to begin with. Eh, whatever, it's like I said, experience, right? So... the armature. There it was. Skyripper's armature. The stuff that dreams are made of. Engineers' dreams, anyway.
The device was intricate. No one alive had the skill to make a thing like it. How was it part of a weapon at all? He'd have to ask a scientist. But first, he'd get the second piece. Skyripper had a heart. A core that had come to rest on the next island. Well, there was another island he could reach. Zenobia had just invaded it with her father's Raven battalions. She must be encamped there still. But fighting Zenobia now, that made no sense at all. He'd already sacrificed one friend to get this armature, was it? He didn't need to hurry to face her. She would find him.
Eventually, when we probably are going to end up going that direction just to see what story we can uncover. So let's continue with the plan. See if I can't get a Skyripper outcome.
It was a no-brainer. He'd sacrificed his old friend Lapino to get the armature. And the armature was useless by itself, only a series of coils and wheels. War demanded sacrifices, and he would make more before the end. He would have to choose the greatest good, no matter how much it cost him. Zenobia. Well, he would see her sooner or later, across a battlefield or a sword's point before all this was over. He was sure of that. The power was in the core. Obviously, he had to get the core.
Take it to the one code. Isn't it, Calavera's, right?
Doubt sunk in before he was even out of sight of the Farfarer. Why had he chosen the Skyripper? It was the sort of path he'd always avoided. The path of responsibility, of seriousness. Had he grown up? He didn't feel grown up. He'd made this decision from his gut, like he always did. Somehow, he'd impulsively decided to stop being impulsive. Did that make any sense?
And we just played this
Bernardo
one.
had opened a chest, and a Jack-in-the-Box jumped out. Jack-in-the-Boxes, they gave them the Wiggins.
Yeah, remember how this area was in the last one? All swampy and rotted. Ooh, I'm gonna go down the wishing well. Yep, let's jump. Wait, does he even... He don't have a tail, does he? Why am I going after chests?
There was something sour in the air. Like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time.
Hey, what do ravens say when they die? Never mind. I'll wait.
There were fewer and fewer trees. There were only these huge crystalline growths. Had those been here before? He no longer heard birds except for the feverish cawing of the ravens when they attacked. He couldn't smell the small animals of the forest. The mice and rabbits. Where had they gone? And he was getting hungry too. This was an unhealthy place to be.
I feel like I'm getting a bit better with my aim and attacks. If not much, just, you know, a little bit. Alright, second chapter.
The 20-sided core made him feel physically sick. Once he had sneaked into a temple of the dark art, and he hadn't liked what he smelt and saw there. This felt like that. As quick as he could, he wrangled the icosahedron into the armature. The wheels began to spin, then glow. The sick feeling quickly spun away. Now he only felt sad. He had lost good friends for this war apparatus. Maybe Lapino wasn't such a good friend. Yeah, that made him feel better.
He carried his prize back to the Farfarer. Now, he had to make his next move.
Go after
There
the
was a
Raven's
key
base.
Imperial outpost on the Nexus. If this really was some sort of super weapon, he could use it to wreak havoc on the enemy. And if it wasn't, well, better to know that before the final battle. But maybe he should show it to some scientists first. There was an observatory on the Nexus. Maybe he should go there before he fired it.
We're gonna stick with the bottom path so we can... And then get a chance to see if they've added a different pick for the last one, too, so...
Renato had never been much of a student. At Swordfu School, he'd never read the books, just looked at the pictures. And Zenobia. But weapons, he understood. His gut told him that the Skyripper would work great. He would use it to take out the Imperial outpost. And what's the worst that could happen? The thing wouldn't work, and then he'd take it to the scientists. Right? Exactly.
That you can pretty much go through about the same storyline, but then the end pick, the end chapter, chapter 4, is what really decides, I guess.
As he set out down the path,
Oh, it's so
Renato
pretty!
wondered why the parts of the Skyripper had only surfaced now, thousands of years after the Transcendent Emperor had discarded it. This Emperor, Isengrim III, had performed terrible, bloodthirsty rituals to invoke the lost gods. Perhaps that was bringing up lost artifacts. How perfect, then, that the Skyripper would reappear to be his destruction. Renato had always wanted a flying carpet. This was more like a flying tabletop, but it would do.
I mean, it's stable. Is it not breaking, you know, making you fall into the void? Then yeah, it does. It does just fine. Sorry about that. Kind of a straight up.
Hey, did you guys ever learn to swing that? Oh, well, too late.
Nice. Yeah, it does not teleport with me, but it does fly as fast as it can to get up to catch up to me.
He was tired of slaughtering ravens. Maybe it was time to test out the new weapon. He turned a knob on the Skyripper. It made strange, mechanical noises. The wheels spun faster. It began to hum. The Skyripper was following his every step. At least it acknowledged him as the master. But there was no trigger. How was he supposed to fire it? Fire, he said. Nothing happened. Well, maybe it just needed to warm up. After all, it hadn't been fired in thousands of years. Skyripper was making a whining noise now, and its wheels were spinning so fast he could no longer see them. Renato had a thought. "These?" he asked. The Skyripper began to glow. Boom! The outpost burst into flame. Ravens flapped out screaming, wings on fire. The base was his. The far speaker toad came hopping out.
Renato!
It croaked, sounding like a toad version of Zenobia.
Don't use the Skyripper! It will destroy the world!
Yeah, sure it will, cracked Renato. Pull the other one.
If you don't trust me, go see Calaveras.
That sounded sensible. Why did she always have to sound sensible all the time? Oh, it was infuriating.
Okay,
of course she would say that.
Yep.
He was supposed to hurry and bring the Skyripper to the council so the rebels could actually win the war. But what if she was right? Damn it.
Okay, hopefully once I do this one, we won't have to take the first path at all. Then on Chapter 2, we can pick something different. So, Calaveras.
Zenobia was so frustrating. If she couldn't get you with magic, she'd get you with reason and caution and sensible arguments.
And that's a bad thing?
Of course, Calaveras, he might not know the latest scientific theories with evidence and all, but Renato preferred the knowledge in the old books anyway. What they said felt true. And that's what's important. You should be careful, though. She'd probably guess he'd come here. That meant she'd probably set an ambush for him.
I mean, you don't know that this might have been, or maybe...
Renato landed on the island, expecting Zenobia's ambush at any moment. On the other hand, there did seem to be a lot of ravens around here. Were they just lost patrols, stirring up trouble? Were they looking for him? If she was going to ambush him, wouldn't she keep the road clear so he wouldn't be on his guard? Or, unless they were part of the ambush, the obvious reasons he was meant to see to take his mind off the ones he wouldn't see. God, after all these years, she still drove him crazy.
If I actually choose to go directly to the scientists instead of to the Raven base, then I should have 2 more options to pick from.
Renato had learned so much. It was time to turn it into something he could use.
Ice. I mean, what's the real way to go? Probably just the health one. Oh wait, no, you should always go through doors first. I don't know. Honestly, though, at this point, like, what is the point other than experience? Was that really worth it? Okay, 20 health. Still.
There was an inscription. Praise the sun. Zenobia's ambush never materialized.
Because there never was
be
one.
Sincere? Calaveras was a great scholar. Renato doubted even Zenobia could convince him to say something he didn't believe. And if he was working for the Empire, he'd never have told Renato about the Skyripper in the first place. Well, he would listen to the wise old toad. But that didn't mean he had to agree.
Oh, I completely missed that. That's pretty much this path. You don't even have to do anything once you get to this certain point. It'll just start destroying everything.
Precision. Ferocity. This was a woman. Why did
That was a ways away. Wait. That's the path. Nope. Yeah, of course. You know what? I would be just straight up blind if I didn't see that close.
Why? Why did he listen to Zenobia? She was the enemy. Of course she didn't want him to use his shiny new weapon.
Shiny.
The thing was, though, she was appallingly honest. She wouldn't lie even to an enemy. At least she'd never lied to him. So if she said he had to see Calaveras, it probably was a good idea to see him. Ugh, it was infuriating.
Ooh. Well, okay. Wait, what is that? Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. know what, let's go ahead and get that active, because one-shotting can be very, very painful.
Calaveras examined the Skyripper eagerly.
How often does a new relic surface?
He brushed off Zenobia's warning.
Oh, what a sorceress know about physics.
However, he did know a few ways to make the weapon even more precise and more powerful, and quickly went off to tinker. Soon the Skyripper no longer whined, but thrummed like a hummingbird taking off. It was ready for war.
And so, Bernardo thanked Calaveras and took the legendary weapon to the final battle. But where were the other rebel ships? Had something happened?
He could defeat the Imperial fleet with a Skyripper, but he couldn't govern. He was not cut out to be Emperor, and he'd no desire to be one.
So if this does not give me a Skyripper outcome, we'll go talk to the Toads first at the third chapter.
There were a few rebel ships here and there, but there was no organization to the battle. Where was the Council flagship? Something had gone terribly wrong.
But he had the Skyripper, and the Ravens had nowhere they could hide. Renato had a feeling that was the back door to something. But what?
A chest. There's not exactly anything here that's gonna attack me. So...
The Council speaker was on the deck, bleeding. Why was she even here?
They found our base,
She croaked.
the Council, all dead. We must surrender.
No, we can still win this, said Renato. I have the Skyripper. He would be a real hero and save the day, even when all appeared to be lost.
You're a good boy.
Said the speaker. And then she died.
Jesus.
Bowman right by his side. Don't look down, he told himself. Don't look down.
You're a completely different path for this one. They still have the same base look to it. One shot. Yeah, that's nice. To gain more skill levels.
He fired at the Skyripper. With a tremendous whoosh, the Emperor's flagship went up in flames. And for good measure, he played the beam around it, setting all the other nearby Imperial ships on fire too. And he watched them burn. The few remaining rebels gave a cheer. And then they stopped cheering. There was a hole in the air. A blackness, like a tear in a parchment. Wind was blowing into it, widening it. It grew larger. Crates were falling off ship decks, upwards into the hole. And the world itself seemed bent, like the reflection on a curved mirror as it poured into the ravenous hole. I guess that somewhere behind that ever-widening hole were gods that had long been exiled. But it didn't really matter. Time was done for here, and soon it was. He should go back to some of the choices he'd faced before. Maybe there were new paths that had opened up. Like those doors he was opening up all over the map that took him to new treasures and around his enemies. But he'd learned another true thing. The core was powerful, but dangerous if used improperly.
I think we can get the story. We can get the one true path. Wait, I have been saying this whole time that there is like 24 outcomes. Technically, there's 25. Story number 23. Hyper Hero. A hero who takes all necessary steps to save the day. The Skyripper core is unstable. So, I am gonna read this and take another short break. I'm glad that it did at least bring me a Skyripper finish. Okay. The Skyripper, the legendary weapon that had banished the gods themselves. Renardo was a cautious but decisive fox. When he assembled the weapon, he ran field tests, and when Zenobia warned him that the Skyripper was unstable, he listened to her advice and took the weapon to a scholar for a checkup. Zenobia was the Emperor's daughter. She was an enemy, but Renardo listened just to be safe. That was the kind of cautious hero he was. When he finally joined the big battle, it was for the win, but all the caution in the world could not stop the Skyripper from tearing a hole in space-time. It devoured the universe. Well... Okay, I'm gonna take another short break. I do have to go to the bathroom. And I will type it in my chat so we know I am not there at the moment. So I will be right back.
The book's pages fluttered to the beginning once again. Faster than before? And he fell.
The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer.
Pieces of the Skyripper had surfaced. Renato knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong. But he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Iblis stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact. It could corrupt its user into a bloodthirsty monster. Maybe he could find a way to use it, to take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion, and he had a gut feeling that he needed to use that to his advantage.
So, as we can see, we have a key line, and we are going to do that.
Renato finally realized that Lapino was a traitor to the cause.
And maybe Renato could use that somehow.
He should confront him, or better yet, find a way to use the traitor against his new master.
Renato couldn't quite put his paw on when he'd realized Lapino was working for the Empire. He'd never exactly seen Lapino sending coded messages to the palace, but he was sure. The rabbit had been on too many disastrous missions where he was the only survivor, or where he accidentally missed getting on the boat that went down to the abyss in flames. If Renato could prevent Lapino from getting back to the fleet with all the intelligence he'd probably gathered, it might be worth the trip.
I don't know if this actually is going to give me the option to
How had
just...
they come to this? They'd been on so many adventures together. Lapino had talked Renato out of prison at least 4 times, and Renato had rescued Lapino from at least 2 lynch mobs.
Is it going to give me both options to either confront him and/or send him on his wild goose chase, or is it just going to do one thing? Here, side trips.
Found that the rabbit resented him. Lapino was hilarious because he was so down on himself and everyone else. But behind the laughs, he wasn't a happy camper. Was this payback? Or did the Empire have his little white tail in a vice?
No, he's a traitor. He is very much a traitor.
Once, Renato had been to a dungeon where all the chests were locked. It was awful.
Like I said, I don't even know why I'm going for those. There's not going to be anything in them.
Swell. He'd always wanted to do that.
The swords are all powered up. I don't need any more of the elemental blocks or ores. They don't give you any more once you're done.
Ravens were landing everywhere from dropships. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lupino first, the rabbit would give the Empire all the intelligence he'd been stealing from the Rebellion, and they'd probably give him a medal. He'd have to be very careful about how he played Lupino. At the slightest hint of danger, the mad rabbit would take off like a rabbit.
I don't know why I'm even bothering now. Yeah, there's the little jerk.
Bloody and exhausted, Renato finally reached Lupino. The rabbit was practicing shuffling his favorite deck. Now that he knew what the rabbit was, there were a few things about him that Renato didn't find so amusing anymore. You sent me an urgent message saying that you're in danger. Oh, I am. The Ravens are coming. Now, I've got a clever plan to kidnap Zenobia. Renato wanted to clap shackles on the rabbit and shout, "You're a traitor, and I'm not falling for it." But if there was one thing Renato was sure of, it was that the core of the Skyripper was dangerous mostly to its user. If he could put it in the Emperor's hands, old Isengrim III might blow himself and his fleet up with it. Yes, that was it.
Well, here is my chance. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and see the death.
Me? A traitor? I'm hurt, said Lupino. Why ever would you say that? We found your code book, said Renato. They hadn't, but he hoped Lupino would blow his cover. You got me, said Lupino. And you know what? I don't regret a thing. It's always about you, isn't it? You're the pretty hero. You get the girl, you get the medal, and what do I get? Rabbit food. I thought you liked rabbit food. Go to hell, said Lupino. And he made a gesture. And 20 ravens came out of nowhere and stabbed Renato to death.
So yep, you can pretty much end.
He tried something bold and paid the price for it.
Yep. So yeah, you can pretty much get your life ended immediately if you find that option. And it gives you nothing, basically.
How had they come to this? They'd been on so many adventures together.
At least it
Lupino had
takes me
talked
right back
Renato
to
out
the
of
beginning
prison
of
at
the
least
level.
4 times. And Renato had rescued Lupino from at least 2 lynch mobs.
Whoa.
Renato checked for a false compartment. Nope.
And I still had the amount of damage I had when I confronted him. And they started you off right back here, doing the same thing, basically. I'm on
He'd
fire,
always felt
baby.
that the rabbit resented him. Lupino was hilarious because he was so down on himself and everyone else. But behind the laughs, he wasn't a happy camper.
Nice.
Was this payback? Or did the Empire have his little white tail in a vice?
Oh. I can't even go that way. Okay. Excuse me. I'm not gonna worry about the chests unless I absolutely need health, which I don't.
Ravens were landing everywhere from dropships. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lupino first, the rabbit would give the Empire all the intelligence he'd been stealing from the rebellion, and they'd probably give him a medal. He'd have to be very careful about how he played Lupino. Had the slightest hint of danger, the mad rabbit would take off like a rabbit.
Okay, so we're gonna do this differently. Follow the path. Follow the key path. Basically.
Bloody and exhausted, Renato finally reached Lupino. The rabbit was practicing shuffling his favorite deck. Now that he knew what the rabbit was, there were a few things about him that Renato didn't find so amusing anymore. You sent me an urgent message saying that you're in danger. Oh, I am. The Ravens are coming. Now, I got a clever plan to kidnap Zenobia.
Yeah,
Renato wanted to clap shackles on the rabbit and shout, "You're a traitor, and I'm not falling for it." But if there was one thing Renato was sure of, it was that the core of the Skyripper was dangerous mostly to its user. If he could put it in the Emperor's hands, old Isengrim III might blow himself and his fleet up with it. Yes, that was it.
I mean, honestly, I just want to straight up clap the rabbit. How about that? Just clap him, not clap shackles on him. Just straight up, just clap him. Just sword right through him.
Renato felt like a real hero, brave and smart. He told the rabbit all about the Skyripper's God's Eye core. "I'll go get the core while you attack Zenobia," he told the rabbit. "But wait, I have an even better idea. I'll get the core and you attack Zenobia," said the rabbit. "Right, yeah, that is better," agreed Renato. Perfect. The traitor would make sure the Emperor got the core. Now Renato just needed the Emperor to use the core. If he could only get something that the Emperor wanted very badly. Zenobia. He could save her and bait the Emperor at the same time.
Yep. So we don't get an option. They're just going to take us right to chapter 2.
Right. Now, all Renato had to do was fight his way through Zenobia's invading troops, sneak onto her ship and into her bedroom, and kidnap her without any of her dozens of guards alerting her. Then, he would rely on her love for him to convince her how evil her father was, so she'd run away with him instead of going back to her father, who was going to blow himself up. It did sound a little risky. But Renato had a feeling it would work out somehow. It always did.
getting the true path. I don't need to go get the chests anymore. I can just keep moving. I mean, I'm definitely gonna finish the game to the point of finding the stories, for sure. That is definitely the plan, at least until the whole thing is uncovered.
This couldn't be good for global warming.
Now that's worse than there wasn't even any danger protecting it. Well, fire you can avoid. If you're not an idiot. Okay, yep, the only thing really in the chests and the containers now are health items. Yeah, I can go down there, but do I need to? Do I really need to?
The market. It was going to be full of gogglers, wasn't it? Oh, it would have been so much more fun before the war. When the worst thing that could happen to you was getting fleeced buying a rug.
I've bought... What? Was I not behind the wall? No. Actually, I could have probably struck him.
Who are you looking at? Oh, right. No one.
Bunch of crap. Got him. Why is he sitting here?
Bernardo was halfway to Zenobia's encampment when Lapino showed up. He was disheveled and distraught. They jumped us. I barely got away. Oh, they got the core. Oh, it was all going according to plan, thought Bernardo. Now he just needed Zenobia on his side. Yes, that was even better. The Iblis Stone. Zenobia could get it. And then the Emperor would have to pursue them. Wait. No. The gem would corrupt anyone. Even her. That's it, he thought. Even Lapino. Even though Lapino was already a traitor. It would turn him against his secret master, the Emperor. He would try to make himself Emperor. And the Emperor would have to defend himself with the core. Boom. He was a super genius.
Wouldn't go that far. You can actually... Now, I'm gonna go ahead and go the right path, I guess. Although I would like to see what the first one does, so...
This is terrible.
Renato told the rabbit. If only I had gone for the Iblis stone. But now it's lost in enemy territory. He handed Lupino a map. It gives the bearer so much power. We can only hope the Emperor never finds it. What was that? Said Lupino. I think someone's following us. I didn't hear anything. Rabbit ears.
You go on ahead. I'll check it out.
And with that, Lupino hopped off with the map.
Too easy. Yeah, I'm actually... That might also be one of the endings as well. To have her go after it. So...
Oops. Thought Renato? Renato slinked through Zenobia's ship, making no sound at all. She was curled up on her bed. He'd forgotten how beautiful she was. How sleek. How soft.
Okay, this is kind of the same.
He tapped her on the shoulder with his sword. She was made of smoke, and he noticed he had a very solid blade to his throat. Did you really think you could capture me?
No.
Heard a familiar voice.
We don't want to capture you.
I just wanted to chat, said Renato. Did you ever wonder why the Emperor adopted you? He needs a sacrifice. Someone who truly loves him, to make a bargain with the lost gods. That's a vicious lie. He wants to bring them back. That's crazy. Why would anyone... They could make him immortal. An eater of souls. And with that, her eyes widened. Renato told her how he had rescued a priest whose order had been massacred. How he had slept in a burnt village. At midnight, the Emperor's victims had been sacrificed in. He could still see those kittens and puppies. Their wide, sad eyes, their moist noses. You can't prove that. I've got a witness at the observatory.
And we don't have a choice of which way to go, because it's already written out. But...
He couldn't tell her, not yet, why he was really here. He didn't want her to be anywhere near the fleet when her father blew himself and Lupino up. So he told her about how the Emperor's obscene rituals had raised ancient artifacts out of the land. How he'd followed the appalling trail of the hideous horrors His Majesty had perpetrated for the sake of his own immortality. Any of this ring a bell? He said. He told me it was all lies. You've always known when I was lying. I always hated that about you, said Renato.
So you know he's not lying right now.
The rebellion had started after atrocities that the Empire hushed up. Renato had rescued a priest whose order had been massacred for one book. He had slept in a burnt village. Dead kittens and puppies had come to tell him what the Emperor had done to them.
And technically I don't need it. I'm gonna end up with enough experience points just from battling the ones that ambush me, so...
Don't you think I'd know if my father started practicing black magic? Why? Would you join in? No! I'd destroy his books and I'd... Oh, God. Okay, you're not completely wrong. They've resurrected one of his victims. Well, look, I mean, look, it's not exactly alive, but it can talk. A true witness, she said.
I don't need health, so I'm not going to worry about it. The graphics really are very pretty. They did put a lot of work into this game. I do have to give them props and credit. They did make a very, very
This was
cool
much
game.
easier than free climbing.
Technically, I didn't need to. Okay, I'll take it.
Why would anyone put his slinky collection in a strongbox, thought Reynardo. The magic slinkies? Oh, and there was something else.
Alright. Chapter 3 of the True Path is done.
The observatory was a burning hulk. Dead scientists and black feathers everywhere. The Ravens had taken special care to burn the reanimated witness to cinders. Zenobia stared at the carnage. He didn't want me to hear the witness, did he? I guess not. What's your plan? She asked. So, Renato explained his brilliant gambit. Sending Lapino to get the Iblis Stone, become super powerful and corrupted, provoke the Emperor into using the core against him, thus blowing up both of them, and hopefully the fleet too. Let me visit your council, she said, shaken. I want to help.
Could
Yes.
he really trust her?
Well, duh. I mean... Trust her? Yes. Fucking trust her, of course. Because that's just gonna end in her dying. He's gonna lose his love, but they're still gonna kill each other. I mean... This is another path. We've already seen that there is one diverting path where you send Zenobia for the stone instead of Lapino. So, next time I play this, play through it about the same, but we'll go ahead and see if there is any different ending with them killing each other. So, let's get the true ending now.
He'd done it. He'd made Zenobia see how evil her father really was. He wished she didn't feel this urge to join in the rebellion. After all, he'd taken care of the Emperor, right? Yeah, but she'd always been conscientious like that. She told him she had to go somewhere first. So Renato gave her the location of the secret base, and they agreed to meet in the ruins. He had a very good feeling about this. What had Zenobia gone off to do? What was more important than meeting the Rebel Council? Had he made a mistake, sending her to the ruins? No. He knew they could trust each other. He could trust her because she never broke her word. And she could trust him because she could see right through him. Well, she'd probably be there well before him. She at least didn't have to fight her way through rainstorms of ravens. Funny about librarians. People thought of them as fussy clerks who shushed them for talking. But the librarians thought of their books as sacred, and themselves as priests in a temple of knowledge. Who knew they were willing to die to protect it?
That does look cool when I can get the combo going and actually hit them accurately. And we don't need to do any special side trips for the most part. Let me go ahead and let's see, get this. There we go. Yep. Well, nope. No more side trips. Unless we need health, we can just keep moving.
As he came around the bend, there was Lupino, unconscious on the side of the path. And Renato could smell a familiar, sweet, smoky scent.
Yeah.
Who? Zenobia. It had to be. She never used a combat spell when she could use drowsy gas. That meant she had the Iblis Stone. What would it do to her? She hated her father now. She'd kill him for sure. The council wouldn't mind if she killed the Emperor, but murdering her father would destroy her. He had to get to whatever ledge she was on and talk her down from it.
Okay. What we're gonna end up with.
Sleep tight, thought Renato.
You mother. Yeah, good reason to save those when I need them. I can go back and get them. If I don't get locked out first. Or locked in first is more like it. What the... Okay. These things.
See? With enough leverage, you could go anywhere. The long stairs. So he was close to the rebel base.
I don't know if that was supposed to
He was
happen.
on fire. So far, so good. is a very cool sword, thought Renato. Like, seriously. He couldn't feel his paw anymore.
Fairly certain this is one of the paths that you need to take. I mean, I don't remember. I did find it, but I just don't. It's been a long time since I played it, so. Excuse me.
Everyone in the council chamber was dead. Zenobia stood shivering in the courtyard, drenched in blood. Why?
Yeah.
He managed. They started arguing with me. I lost my temper and I wanted their blood. Well, not me. The stone did. Why did you take it from Lupino? I had a plan. You had a stupid plan, she said. I'm going to go kill my father now. No, you can't. You'll just take his place. You'll become worse than him. Get out of my way, or I'll kill you too. You won't kill me, he said. And I won't let you kill the Emperor. Enraged, she raised the sword. You hate him too? He could sense the Iblis stone, yearning for his death. But she didn't strike. If you kill him, he'll destroy you. I know you. Shut up! She shouted, her sword trembling. I won't lose you again. Not for anything. Get away from me, he said, and he was very close. I can't lose you again. And he was in reach of her sword now. I hate him! I hate you too! I love you, he said for the very first time. And then she was weeping. He was holding her. The sword had dropped from her hand. He glanced at the Iblis stone. It was no longer the black of the void. It looked like coal. No. It glowed, like a cinder. It was crackling, burning, crumbling into ashes. You've always loved me, haven't you? She said. She was weak. The stone had taken so much from her. Always, he said. She staggered as he helped her up. Let me take you away. Where? The island of Avalon. The sisters will heal you. He'll follow us. Then we need the Farfarer, the fastest ship in the Empire.
So there is still the outcome of let her go kill her father. Okay.
The Empire had seized his ship. They'd have to take it back.
I don't know if there'd be a new outcome, but get all the paths done, double check, and at least then you can say that you've went that route.
A portal that led right into the middle of the fleet. It was a glaring weakness in the defense. Zenobia was in no shape to fight. But he never fought so well. He wasn't fighting for money or loot or a cause. He was fighting for her. For them. His sword danced, his feet flew, and the ravens recoiled from his ferocity. Imagine getting a horse up in one of these things. It would be cursing a blue streak. there it was, his beautiful skycraft, the Farfarer. They would fare very far indeed, beyond the Empire, beyond the reach of the Empire, to the mystical island of Avalon. He didn't know exactly where it was, but he knew he could find it. And they would find peace there. Second star on the right, and straight on till morning, laughed Zenobia. And they laughed together for the first time in a long time.
Alrighty. This should be, I think. I just don't remember. Speedrun this biatch. Get the hell out of Dodge.
But they did not go unnoticed. Scout ships lifted off, and the long lance of the Imperial flagship. Bernardo turned downwind to gain speed. The Raven ships could pursue, but they couldn't close. The Farspeaker croaked, "Return her and live!" "Go sacrifice yourself," yelled Bernardo. "Then you won't have her either." On the flagship, the Emperor was readying some arcane weapon. It couldn't be. It was the core.
Yeah, but they should show it without the
devastating
armature.
beam lanced out of the flagship. Bernardo zigzagged wildly to keep the Farfarer out of it. Now the Raven scout ships were closing the distance, and the beam was getting closer too. Then came a blinding flash, and the air was searingly hot all around him. There was a thunderous, deafening roar. He could smell burnt oak and burnt feathers and burnt flesh. But when he could hear and see again, they were alive and unhurt. And they were alone in the sky. Zenobia embraced him. They had done it. Through luck and through love, they had won the war. "Avalon, here we come," he said as he held her arms wide at the prow of the boat and let her feel its speed. "Maybe the real Avalon is wherever we're together," she said. And so, after a bit of an argument, Bernardo and Zenobia went to one of the two Avalons. The one shrouded in mists, or the one in their hearts. But which one they went to, I'll never tell. He'd done it. He'd forged his own destiny.
Yes.
Well, he hadn't actually done it, but he knew what he would do. Bernardo smiled at the book. He practically wanted to kiss it. The kid's sacrifice hadn't been in vain. He'd saved the book and saved the world. Bernardo owed him and his mother so much. Renato lowered the mainsail and let the Farfarer shoot forward in the breeze. Second star to the right, and straight on till morning.
Peter
This
Pan
time,
reference.
he would win.
Well, so there, that's the end of the game. You find the one true path, and we get the credits. Well, as you can see, we've only found 7 of the stories. There is one true story, which we got, but there's a total of 24 side stories of despair, death, and disaster. But I mean, it's still a story. I still want to see. I would like to see that whole piece of parchment completed and filled up with stories. Okay, after this, and I get to take a look at that beautiful true story statue, I'm gonna go ahead and end after. I definitely did what I got on here to do. I'm very happy with it. And basically when I play this again, it'll just be to go through random stories. There's nothing else I can do. The game is not yet completely done. We still have a lot to uncover. And more than likely, there is a trophy for completing every tale. I don't know what I'm gonna go do. Ooh, Unreal Engine, yeah. Very pretty game. So... it's still it's only 6:30 in the morning here. I've been up for over 3 hours. I am getting hungry. I know I shouldn't be up this early, but I am. It does suck. Hero path completed. Iblis Stone and Skyripper always active. So that means I think it means the Skyripper always does damage to opponents, and the Iblis Stone protects you, I guess? I don't know. You can't view it. Oh. Okay, well, I would like to, but I guess not. Alright, I'm done. I am done. I am... My stomach's starting to hurt. I am hungry. Alright, that was fun. I got done what I needed to do, what I wanted to do. Honestly, way too early for me. I should have stayed in bed and slept a little bit, but I could not. I don't know. I just could not sleep for the life of me. Get up and do something. Alright, so I did. We are done for the day. This is part 3. I'm gonna go ahead and edit a little bit on there. I'll probably go ahead and swap the title for Hero Path Discovered or something. True Path? But of course, as I always have to say, before and after, don't forget to hit that like button and sub button if you've not already. All that is greatly appreciated. And of course, you guys helping me out by going and telling people you know, it really does help. I've definitely had a few extra subs. I'm not sure if it's, you know, just cool random people who found me, or if it's actually people going and telling others, but all the support is greatly appreciated. It does make me feel at least I'm doing something worthwhile. I mean, not that I don't. I do cross-stitch and I do arts and crafts and beautiful works, but being able to have a little bit of a variety and do something else. Like my one friend said, if you're gonna play a game, you might as well stream it. It's just, you know, just for the fun of it. Anyway, I'm gonna take off now. I will see you guys later. Thank you for stopping by, my one friend. I greatly appreciated seeing you. It was very nice chatting with you. And I hope your day is going to go well too. So, later, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.